I have a freaking torn deltoid, and that is what I'm rolling with today. So, yeah, I don't know if you saw that. It's not, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully it's not a torn rotator cuff.
Yes.
Good.
I'm really sorry about the echo, everybody. Usually I have my headphones, but anyhow. So Sydney didn't get back to her mom right away, but she figured no big deal. You know, she had a date that night, whatever, figured she'd get to her in the morning or something, but she never did. And as the day progressed, so this was the day of the 16th. Yeah, November 16th. As the day progressed, her sister started getting calls from their friends and stuff asking if anyone had seen her or heard from her. She did not show up to work, which was really unusual. She wasn't responding to people's messages, which was super unusual. And the family began to really worry about what was going on. So they went past her apartment and they saw that she hadn't been there. There was just no evidence that she'd ever come home that night. Even her cat was like outside and unfed, which is not something she would have done if she'd been home that night.
Right.
So they started in on this missing persons, and I'm not sure. I think since she was an adult, they had to wait to file, but it doesn't seem like there was very much of a wait because the community popped right on that. The community was so heavily involved in this case. I believe one of the reasons was because her father was a school principal, and I'm not sure if he was the principal of that high school or not, but the high school really put a lot of work into this case as well. Just seriously rallied around them. The Nail. Oh, I just said that wrong. I heard it right earlier. Maybe it is Nail or Nail. Oakdale School held a benefit. The basketball team had a green out day to show their support for the Loofe family in their search. Over 30,000 people ended up following the Find Sydney Loofe page on Facebook. Oh, we have somebody else in here. Hi, Batman
Face Punch.
I freaking love that name. I think I know who that is too. So law enforcement came in from the surrounding counties as well to look for her. The FBI got involved. There was a pond that was like north of the school that they drained trying to find her body, and they just were not having any luck. And yeah, they set up a hotline specifically for her case and everything. In a press conference held on November 30th, George spoke to the community saying, "On behalf of our family, I would like to thank all of you, all of the people who made the pins, the flyers, gotten the word out on social media, all of the support our family has received. Continue that, and thank you all for your prayers. In my opinion, someone knows something. Please do the right thing." And it was the community involvement that broke this case. Very specifically, Brooklyn McChrystal, which, first of all, can we say McChrystal is a badass last name? And this kid was badass. I say kid, they were in their 20s, but, you know, to me, that's a kid. She got on Tinder and created a false account, and she set it up with the type of parameters that Sydney would have had her account set to. And she went through every single freaking match until she found the Audrey that Sydney had told her about and shown her the picture of.
Oh, damn.
And then she catfished Audrey and got the phone number and handed that over to the police. Audrey, very not surprisingly, was not Audrey at all.
Right.
And she said she was 25, but she was actually 23 at the time. So, I skipped all my notes. Oh, we just said that. And this led them to 23-year-old Bailey Boswell, because she used the same phone for everything. When the police contacted Bailey, she admitted to going out with Sydney that day, and she said she dropped Sydney back off at a friend's house after their date. She would later say that like they'd made plans to go to a casino, like the next day or the day after. It's supposed to be in really close succession. And this, of course, was mostly bullshit. Like the only part of it that's true is they went out. When police requested that Bailey come down to the station to be questioned formally, she declined. Things were not adding up in Bailey's favor at all. She already had a criminal record, and she was not a very smart criminal. Which, kudos for dumbass criminals. That's how they get caught.
Right.
Yeah. She had a record for theft, fraud, just stuff along that line. And there was also a warrant out. I heard one of the sources said that the warrant was for possession of cannabis. But another one was saying that they were able to bring her in on the fraud charges. So honestly, it could have been either one. Because they had a history. I said they without saying who they is. Well, I'm going to go there. And I'm going to give you a warning because this case goes off the rails really quick. Bailey was living with her 51-year-old boyfriend / daddy / master, and his name was Aubrey Trail. If you're thinking that some sex cult shit is about to go down, you are 100% correct. We will circle back to that in just a second. Aubrey and Bailey were renting a basement apartment in the neighboring town of Wilbur. This is neighboring to Lincoln. This is an area that police were actively searching at the time. Sydney's phone had pinged off of some of the cell phone towers in that area on the night she went missing. And the cell phone pinging is really was a major part of this case. Now, the couple that they were renting this apartment from noticed on the morning of November 16th that the place reeked of bleach. It was awful. Like just walking around the perimeter of the house, you could smell it. It was terrible. And they informed the police because they knew about the search that was going on and being like, this is a little sus. At the time, the apartment wasn't looked into any further, though, because they didn't really have, everything was really circumstantial. You can't really get a warrant on that.
I mean, you can't get a warrant on my house smells like bleach?
I have a really, really terrible thing to say about that involves police brutality, but we're not going there because the police did right this time. They only got the warrant and were able to do the search after Bailey refused to come in for the initial questioning. Mm-hmm. And she kind of bounced. Her and Aubrey bounced. In the apartment, the investigators found multiple empty bottles of bleach and then some more bottles that were like half empty. Sex toys and other sexual paraphernalia, which is not bad. Not going to yuck anybody's yum. It's relevant to the case because of the whole sex cult thing. They did not find any DNA evidence for Sydney, but the place was bleached within an inch of its life. And the place was also, so we're talking mid-November, early December in Nebraska. And the apartment had the AC on and was set to 63 degrees.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Not like they're trying to, delay decay or anything. When Aubrey and Bailey realized that they were persons of interest in this case, they drama queened, especially Aubrey. Oh my God. They were stirring up shit with their friends, family, anyone who would listen, and telling them about how they were being prosecuted, and it was just like being crucified in the news. They made videos that they posted on a Facebook page, but Facebook, when the investigation progressed, the page was taken down. And so they moved the videos to YouTube. So let's get some of these clips here. The videos together are 20 minutes, so we're not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to hit on a couple of these. Let me know if you can hear this right when it comes up. Maybe, if it wants to come up.
Yeah, I can hear that.
few days watching ourselves being slammed and crucified in the newspapers and the news and everything else. So we thought it was time we had our say. We're not trying to defend anything. We're not trying to make you believe anything. We just feel we should get to say our side since everyone else gets to say theirs. The Lincoln Police Department.
So we're gonna skip past "we're not hiding" because we. Okay, so there he goes on to say that they're not hiding, and that they've been trying to. I think I overskipped. Oh well, they've been trying to get a hold of people and talk to people and cooperate. Okay, go back. We gave them leads. Sorry. Okay, so and then Aubrey talks about how the police went to his ex-wife's house and that's why they couldn't find him, and then he gave them the correct address and told them where to find him, like still on the "we're not hiding." No.
We found out that on the 21st, I think it was, on the 20th, the county attorney in Wilbur, Saline County, filed a warrant against me for possession of a firearm, which is insane. I have never owned a firearm in 20 years. The next day, according to the papers, the warrant was withdrawn, but the Lincoln paper is not telling you that the warrant was withdrawn because there was no firearm in my house. But they will have you believe that, looking for us or whatever. We were at our house 4 days ago. No one showed up. We have a young lady with us for a week, which is Bailey's sometimes girlfriend. Omaha police started calling her phone, telling her pretty much that she's in danger with us. So we took her home the day before Thanksgiving. She was with us when Bailey and I were trying to call the Lincoln Police Department. She can verify.
Okay, so we'll do that for a second. In the clips, so I have the links for these videos will be in the show notes. And if you're following the Facebook event, they're already in there. So you can hear more of what was said in these videos, but we're going to break down the content. Aubrey claimed that the couple was making a legitimate living in selling antiques, but the truth was that he, Bailey, and the other members of their cult were stealing antiques and reselling them, or they were selling fakes. One of the most prominent was that they swindled an older couple out of $400,000 for a fake coin. That's not legitimate. It's bullshit is what that is.
Right.
The claims about talking to the police and giving the police leads were actually that they were blowing up the tip line with false and misleading information. And the police had to be like, seriously, what the fuck, guys? It was interfering with the case. There is a lawyer who Aubrey mentions in both videos. His name is Douglas Wurz. And Aubrey, in the second video, he makes a big deal about how this guy isn't just his attorney. He's like the county attorney. And he has all the information, and he knows that they were trying to get to the police and talk to them. And he said that Bailey and him had written up statements and given it to this attorney. The attorney would later come out and make a statement saying like, no, this is not my client. I've never dealt with this dude. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Wow.
Yeah. Aubrey commented about people like us. Oh, let me see if I can find that real quick. Skip, skippity skip, home before Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah. So he says, let us know if we slip up. And I love that one because then he bitches the entire second thing about the fact that people caught him in his lies. I think this is it.
In America, I sure thought it was a trial first. I guess not. You've heard all of this stuff about my criminal history. All true. Been convicted of bad checks, forgery, and all that good stuff. Never been convicted of anything like, I guess I'm a person of interest on now. They will have you believe that I'm still just a criminal running around. But I don't really need to explain all of that. Naturally, I can't go home now because my house has been swarmed, searched, and I'm being looked for. This has pretty much cost me my life. I pray for Sydney. I hope she's found soon. I wish the family the best. I'm sorry that she wasn't with you on Thanksgiving.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, that's Bailey talking, so it's in the second video. My bad. Haven't heard from her since. Didn't have anything to do with this. Let's do this one.
The police department is putting in the paper, putting on the news what they're feeding to the media, what they want the media to know. There's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing she can do about that because the police department is going to do what suits them best. Yeah, I know that's coming from a criminal, so you believe what you will as far as the police department is concerned. But as far as I'm concerned, but they're chasing us around like dogs. I wish the family the best. I mean, no disrespect to anyone. I wish Sydney the best. But as far as the police department, fuck you. Yeah.
Okay, so not exactly what I was looking for, but still relevant. You'll believe what you want to believe. Are we not allowed? Nope, it's in between. It's got to be in between. We're going to talk. Let me assure you. That's my attorney is statements. Or does he say people like us? Whatever. Oh, maybe this is it. I don't know. There's one more I do want to play because it's creepy as hell, in my personal opinion. And then I'll get back to this. Legitimate. Don't know what else to say. Not helping our cause. No, you weren't helping your cause because you were dumbasses. Not much. Where's the I like women? That one creeped me out. Did you hear that one? When he was like so pissed that people were calling him a pedophile. Oh, hey, here's people like us. Okay, that's really quiet, so I don't know if you guys could hear that one. Don't turn yourself in. God damn. This one is. Oh, flippin' heck. I started the video over. Oh my God, Emily. Just creeps me out. I like adults. I like females. Horny old guys. So what? I'll tell you so what. Dick. Anywho. So, okay, so we're going to the people like us. Now, he says the people like us is criminals. Very specifically says that. I mean, a little bit. But the sex cult thing is really what we're talking about here. Because what was going on was that Aubrey was a self-proclaimed vampire daddy, which is like a sugar daddy, but with vampires. And he was telling these girls that he was going to grant them mystical powers, and they were all going to be witches, and that went along with the whole taking care of you stuff. So they were getting like $200 a week allowance and stuff like that, but they were part of the antique theft and fraud as well, and they had to like swear themselves to him so he could have multiple sexual partners, but they couldn't because that's the way it always goes. And honestly, like, I encourage you guys to go and follow the links and watch the videos, because the way that he talks is very typical for a charismatic cult leader. Like, he does that thing where he's so, like, convincing and driving the point home, and if you don't know the truth behind it, you could kind of fall for it and be like, oh wow, yeah, these guys are being hounded, whatever. It's very stereotypical of that. Now, to be clear, there is nothing wrong with the people who identify as vampires. It's actually a really cool community. We love diversity, but whether it's for some people it's a lifestyle, for some people it's like a sexual kink, doesn't matter, whatever it is, people, they're just people, they're awesome. But in any community, you are going to have the weirdos, and you are going to have the creeps, and you're going to have the people who make the whole community go bad, and these are the people who do not know where to draw the line when it comes to these fantasies and role-playing and stuff. And we've talked about this before about the kink communities, and not all kinks are sexual, for those who are unaware. But safe, sane, and consensual are really, really big parts of this community. It's like the pillars of everything that's done in these communities. And it's a really big problem when someone chooses to use another's desires and fantasies to manipulate, abuse, and control them. So that's what we're talking about with what's going on here. And this is going to run right into his claims about how he never hurt a woman, because he said that he never killed a woman, he never hurt a woman in his entire life, except for he did, because the sexual stuff was not safe and sane. There are questions about consensual. And in this cult, so Bailey was the head witch, which again is not representative of witch-based religions and practices. It's not. Like, a lot of those practices are actually about, like, peace and harmony, but whatever. These guys are psycho. I shouldn't say that. That's a broad generalization, but y'all get the point. Bailey kept a list of all of the women who were part of this cult, and next to it, she wrote what their powers were supposed to be. And it was also kind of a little bit of a blackmail list as well, as with most cults. And they were telling people that, very specifically, Aubrey was telling these women that if they killed someone and sucked their last breath, that they would be granted powers, mystical powers. And that the more that they tortured somebody before killing them, the more power they would gain from their death.
Ugh.
Right?
That's awful.
Mm-hmm. It's fucked up. In a press conference held on November 30th, so this was the same press conference that George had spoken at, FBI agent Randall Thiessen kind of slipped up. He said, literally moments ago, we made contact with two individuals that I think we all know here, which he's talking about Bailey and Aubrey. But it's a very fluid situation. We've located both of them, and we are taking both of them in at this time. The problem with that is that they weren't actually taking them in at that time. They didn't take them in until the next day, which gave them a heads up. And that's
not good.
No, it's not. It's not. But then Aubrey in the videos is all like, in both videos, he went on about, we're going to turn ourselves in. We're going to turn ourselves in. We already been crucified. You've already said we're guilty. So they did get them, but they arrested them on unrelated warrants, because at that time Sydney was still missing, and they didn't really have anything more than just like basic circumstantial stuff. But they brought them in and they held them because they could hold them on those other warrants. And 3 days later, well, these guys were still in jail. So this was December 4th is when they found Sydney's body. And they did this. We talked a second ago about the cell phone pinging off of the towers in Wilbur and Clay County.
Yes.
And they used that to just triangulate a search area. At that point, the authorities were able to officially arrest Bailey and Aubrey for the murder of Sydney and, get the indictments and stuff started. Now, these assholes, they brutalized Sydney. I'm just a little bit of a trigger warning coming up there for those who don't like gruesome details. Her body was cut into 14 pieces and scattered along the side of a rural highway. They found it, I believe there were 16 trash bags in all that the body parts were in. Some of the body parts were never recovered, like her organs were never recovered. The autopsy showed that they had done several of those hesitant starter cuts on the body. What they could identify of her body was so badly damaged, she had to be identified by her tattoos, very specifically one on her inside arm, this area of the body, whatever it's called, that said, "Everything will be wonderful someday." Ultimately, her cause of death was ruled to be strangulation. I know, isn't that awful? It's so sad. It's so sad. And she had like her other ones, I think I posted them earlier, but she had like a yin and yang, and then she had like a little believe on her wrist. It was just really positive stuff. And so it's so sad because she was so young. She had everything ahead of her, and not that anybody at any age being hurt is okay. It's one of those things that's extra sad. While Aubrey and Bailey were in jail, footage from a local Home Depot was uncovered that showed them buying hacksaws, tin snips, needle nose pliers, bleach, a fine-tooth saw, and a drop cloth on the morning of Sydney's disappearance. It was also reported that Bailey showed up at Menards that morning, and so the security footage shows her like stalking around and kind of following Sydney, but not actually engaging with her.
Creepy.
That's what we call premeditation, is what we call that. On November 16th, Bailey was seen on camera again. This was the morning of the 16th. She was buying more bleach, roasting pans, God knows why, trash bags, and coffee. And it was also, there was one report, and it couldn't be confirmed. This was from the Inhuman podcast, I believe. Was the one that they were talking about this. Well, I know it's Inhuman. I just can't remember the rest of it. I want to say it's like Inhuman True Crime Podcast. Whatever. It'll be in the notes. That they heard that the couple had also bought a vintage meat grinder, but they couldn't really confirm that. Yeah. That's so these other members from the cult came forward, and I'm sorry I did not get their names written down. There was just a lot to this case and a lot of different sources I was jumping between, and unfortunately the written sources did not have as much information as the podcasts and the YouTube videos, so I didn't get their names. But these women came forward in the case. I want to say there was a Kate and an Ashley who were really big ones that testified against these people, and they were saying that Aubrey was constantly talking about things he wanted to do to torture and murder women. Like specifically, he talked about, pulling their teeth and pulling their fingernails off and stuff, and just saying they did buy needle nose pliers. And they had also said that they were going to make a snuff film. For those who don't know what a snuff film is, it's pornographic videos, but where they like actually torture and kill people in them. It's not pretend, it's real. And they said they were going to do that and sell it on the dark web for $1 million. They were, telling all the people in this cult that they were going to do that. And I want to say it was Kate was the one that she was really concerned because it could have been her. It was like really close to being her, and then it ended up being Sydney that whatever they did happened to. So they go, while they're in jail. Going back to them being idiots. They thought they were being so sneaky with these letters they were writing each other. Like they were trying to write them in code, but the code was so easy to break. It's elementary stuff. And they like did not understand that their letters were being read and that this was actually a federal case. So their letters were being read by like FBI analysts. And they came in there, the FBI came in and testified at the trial. They're like, yeah, so these letters were encoded to be getting the story straight between them. And they were set up so that Aubrey was telling Bailey to deny everything and let him take the fall for it. They get to court. And they're playing this. First, Aubrey says that, Bailey was high. She was in another room. She didn't know what was going on. So then it came into more in the defense had to prove, okay, not necessarily was she involved in the first degree murder, but she was involved in the improper disposal of human remains.
Mm-hmm.
And like the two charges they ended up getting her on was the conspiracy to commit murder and then the improper disposal. And the reason they were able to get her on the conspiracy to commit murder is because she was the one who initiated all of the Tinder messaging and whatever and was bringing these women into the cult.
Right.
But they both vehemently denied that Bailey was involved in the actual murder. What Aubrey ended up telling the courts eventually, like his final thing, was that, okay, yeah, I did it, but here's what happened. We were having sex games and we were doing erotic asphyxiation and things went too far. And she actually accidentally got strangled with an extension cord. And then they panicked and disposed of the body. That was his story. Because a 24-year-old lesbian totally wants to get it on with a 51-year-old unattractive 51-year-old. It should be specific. Age doesn't automatically equal attraction, but the point is, there's pictures of him. He's nothing to write home about. During the trial, when testimony was being given against Bailey, Aubrey, as we said, drama queen, he yelled out. I'm going to pull this up because you can hear what he yells out, and then I'll tell you what happened. What happened to America? Officer. Oh, what just happened? God damn it. Shit on a stick. No, nobody cares. I had it like almost to the end, and then it decided it wanted to pull something up or wanted to like extend the screen or something. And I'm like, no, I don't care about stats for nerds. It literally says that. It keeps pulling it up, and they're like, stats for nerds. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Right now, that was what I care about. So when he said that,
what does he say? It was a little hard to hear.
He said, Bailey is innocent. I curse you all. And then he tried to slit his own throat.
Ooh.
Luckily, he was incompetent and did not have a very good weapon for doing it. Like it said, maybe he had like a little razor blade. They weren't quite sure exactly what it was because you're supposed to be searched before you go into courtroom for that type of stuff. But somehow he brought it in. So it was just a superficial wound. And when you see the video, which I do believe I posted the link to that, who knows? We'll find out. Like everybody jumps on him. There's bailiffs and like even attorneys and stuff, so he didn't get very far with that. He's just doing his drama queen thing.
That's intense.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Like, who does that? Who does any of the things they did? I'm trying to figure out if I'm missing anything. No, I think I've got it all. So, Bailey was potentially up for the death penalty, and if that happened, she would have been the first female put to death in Nebraska in a really long time. Like, Nebraska's apparently not very big on the death penalty, but she managed to dodge that and got life in prison instead. Aubrey, ultimately, he got the death penalty, and then he tried to appeal that, at which point he claimed that his counsel was incompetent and he wanted to fire them and represent himself. One of the complaints was that his attorneys refused to sell like this $25,000 antique piece that was the sales were supposed to be able to pay his legal fees and stuff. Like, of course they're not going to sell your stupid antique for you. They all know you're a fraud.
Right.
Why would they do that? I don't know. So I believe he dodged the conspiracy to commit charge, and then he was charged with the first-degree murder and the improper disposal of the body, which he had. So part of his confession was to try to bring it down from the first-degree murder to a manslaughter charge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the difference between premeditated and in the moment. It's a lesser charge, and that's part of the dropping the conspiracy to commit murder, because you can't say you were doing conspiracy to commit murder, but then it was manslaughter. So he pled guilty to killing her accidentally and to improperly disposing of the body. So those were his charges.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm trying to remember, because I can't remember if he ended up getting his sentence changed to life in prison, but I don't think so. I think he's still on death row. And that is the case of the Tinder murder.
Wow.
In this, just stressing the community involvement here was so intense. They really rallied around the family. On the Monday of December 11th, like after they'd found out that Sydney her body had been found, and then it was released back to the family and be able to do the burial, there were a bunch of community members who came in, and like people from neighboring communities as well. And they did a big balloon release of green balloons, because the whole thing for the campaigning and the fundraising and everything trying to find her was that they were lighting it up green. So that is it. We will see you guys same time next week for what's the name of the case?
I don't remember.
Like, Lethal Lovers. That's what it is.
Lethal
Lovers.
Lethal Lovers.
Because February is for Folie à Deux. I really hope I pronounced that right. Fucking French. So yes, same time, same place, except for we're actually going to start on time next week, right?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. So remember, everybody, be a bitch.
Carry a big stick.
And don't get murdered.
All right, love you.
Mwah, mwah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.